Now, we have 5 minutes to ask questions, and we'll stay within our 5 minutes as much as possible as well. And I'll begin by recognizing myself for 5 minutes. Mr. Yoon, I'll begin with you if I can. I'd like to begin with something that the ranking member, Ine Vega, and I feel very strongly about, we're very concerned about, and that's the recent attack on the Taiwanese fishing vessel by a Philippine government ship that resulted in the death of a Taiwanese national. I hope you'll take just a moment to address this issue and advise us as to any discussions that the administration might be having with Philippine government officials regarding, for example, an official apology to Taiwan or compensation to the victims' families or any other action that might be contemplated at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On this very tragic incident, number one, we would very much like to convey our condolence to the family for the loss of life. I think there have been a number of discussions between Manila and Taipei, and of course, we would like those discussions to go on to an end that is acceptable to both sides. I think at this point, sir, we really don't know what happened. I understand the investigation is going on, but we are keeping in very close contact both with Taipei and Manila on this incident. It is very unfortunate because, as you well know, these are two of our closest friends and partners in the region, and so we just feel awful.
Thank you very much, and we would appreciate the Department keeping this committee up to date on what's happening there. Ranking Member Vega and I just came back from Korea and Japan and Taiwan a couple of weeks ago, and as you indicated, both of these countries are very close and important allies of the United States, and you hate to see something like this happen between friends. My next question, the U.S. has provided an extraordinary amount of assistance to Cambodia since 2007, at roughly $70 million a year. Over the course of the last few years, however, we've seen assistance yield arguably few results, and Cambodia is no more closely tied to the United States than it was back in 2007. According to our U.S. Ambassador to Cambodia, Ambassador Todd, the relationship, according to him, has actually soured quite a bit following President Obama's visit to Cambodia last year. I'm not inferring it's because of that, but since then it apparently has soured. In addition, Hun Sen's party, the Cambodia People's Party, CPP, controls almost every aspect of governance and civil life in Cambodia, including the military and police forces, which are all members of the Standing Committee of Hun Sen CPP and its Politburo. Every single top military commander also sits on the CPP Central Committee. And additionally, many of these CPP-dominated military units are involved in gross human rights abuses, like violent land seizures for economic concessions, and we just met with some Cambodians about those land seizures last week, and the seizures and economic concessions to timber and rubber and palm oil companies and a whole range of things. So would you comment on that, Mr. Yoon?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think we absolutely share your concerns. There's no question about that. I think the high level of our assistance really does reflect the tragic history that Cambodia has gone through and really our effort to help overcome past legacies. Having said that, you are very much on the right, same thinking as us. Their abuse of human rights and lack of political freedom is very much of concern. As you noted, President Obama was in Cambodia last November for multilateral meetings, East Asia Summit and other meetings. And he did have a meeting with Prime Minister Hun Sen, and at that meeting he had a very good discussion and conveyed our very strong views on human rights. There will be Cambodian elections coming up in July, and again, we have been telling the Cambodians to please be inclusive and also have openings so that political opposition can legitimately represent themselves. And these discussions are going on, and I expect these elections will be a crucial indicator.
Thank you. If I could stop there just for a second, because I'm almost out of time, but you mentioned the national elections in July. Let me ask you, if they're determined to be not free or not fair, which a lot of observers think is quite likely, how will the administration adjust, for example, its assistance levels to Cambodia to reflect our disapproval with how Hun Sen is ruling the country and how the elections went if they don't go the way they should? And when I say should, not judging which way an election should go, but just that it's fair.
We will, of course, have to digest what happens in the election, but I would imagine it will be a very important factor in where we go with our assistance.
All right, because I would strongly urge that, that is a factor. It ought to be a factor in whether we're taking American taxpayer dollars and aiding a country if their elections are deemed to be fair and open to both sides or all sides. Thank you very much. I'd now like to recognize the current ranking member for the day, Mr. Vera, for 5 minutes.